everyone, MJ here, your favorite live streamer, at least from Taiwan, at least from Kaohsiung. How's everyone doing? Yeah, we're in Kaohsiung. This is just going to be a chill stream. I love this. This has been a tradition that I've done every year, probably for 5 years, at least once a year, often a few times a year. I come down to this canal, and the lens is not dirty. It's actually kind of foggy or hazy, however you want to look at it. We're down here in southern Taiwan, and I have spelled the name of the town in Chinese and also in Romanized English. Welcome everyone. Now, the funny thing is I don't see I better check this, because I don't see my normal comments. That is my chat box. Good evening, good evening. Okay, no, it is working. Okay, which means I better take that off. Yeah, good evening. Matthew, fist bump to you. Same to you. Hi, Jan, how are you? Look at this place. It's across the canal here. There's a parking lot. That's what that kind of abstract looking thing is with the columns. Just got a notification. Good. Wow. The cancel culture hasn't caught up with me yet. Interesting. It shows no viewers on YouTube, though, which is impossible. Ha! So funny. Yeah, these tiers down here are all for parking. Just go around there, you know. Go in and kind of corkscrews up to the top. Behind, over here, and actually out of the frame of the picture on the right, this is Dream Mall. There's usually a monster Ferris wheel on top of the roof. Oh yeah, that is Valentine's Day in the States, huh? Well, you know what? It doesn't mean anything. Don't let it throw you off. But we got some hearts for you if you need them. Absolutely. And yeah, see, we got everything you need right here in prison. So tell you what, there's some bugs in front of you. So there's some hearts for you right there, Jan. How's that? And let's see, what else can we do? Oh, this one looks cute. I haven't tried this one before. That's cute. And let's see what else we got. Oh, this is interesting. This is a bunch of different kinds of hearts here. Let's try this one. And what I like about it is oh, sorry, that's to find a face. Oh, never mind. So. Wow, 40 years. That's so cool. That's a record for many people. Wow. But now wait a second. You know what I used to do with my wife? It got me in trouble so much I stopped doing it. But I would pretend all about it. I would pretend to forget our anniversary. Wouldn't say nothing or do nothing until the evening, when I have something prepared for us. So Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's not easy, is it? 40 years is a long time. No reflection on our conversation. But you hear me chewing. I'm having some 90% cacao chocolate. And you know, it's the greatest antidepressant that I know. Well, Jan, don't reveal too much now, you know, on the live stream, because let me just warn you from personal experience, not everything ages well. You see what's going on in the United States right now with all these people going nuts over lawsuits and things about tweets and blog posts and whatever they've done, and then somebody will drag something up that the opposing side did, you know, 5 years ago or something. But it is a beautiful night here, and I'd say it's about 25. Whoa! $15 inches of snow. That's going to be about, let's see, about 35 centimeters, something like that. That's pretty impressive. That's hard to deal with. So yeah, I know, it's wow. 8 to 10, wow. Well, Jan, you know, I mean, I appreciate you opening up and everything, and I personally do have private and confidential, you know, conversations with friends and followers about things they want to open up or something and just get it off, you know, off their mind. And that's different, you know. You got to be careful about what you say in public. But you know, I'm going to tell you though, this is how I feel about it. If tomorrow you said to me that you would rather I go back and delete this whole live stream because of that, I would. A lot of things more important than just live streaming. I want to show you guys something, because I have never heard of this. This is crazy, and I hope you can see this. I got a bag of potatoes because you guys know I like to, you know, do taste test. Now, what this says is, it says, and let me see if I can get Prism to focus on it. It says Cuban sandwich, and it shows this beautiful Cuban sandwich. Okay, and I've had Cuban sandwiches, and they're amazing. And you see that stuff on it? Looks like it's cheese until you look at the bottom. Chicken and peanut butter flavor. Cuban sandwich potato chips. I have never even heard of a peanut butter and chicken for real Cuban sandwich, let alone a potato chip. Now, the really interesting thing is, I did some experiments before, because I've always thought that chicken and peanut butter would go together very well. You know, I like to combine things. You guys know me, I'm a big flavor person. You see me do some different tests where I do things. I'll do different sauces with foods and I combine them all together. You know, maybe in ways that some other people might not do, just because I just want to see what happens. And I got my Dutch oven one day. I've done this twice, and I took a chicken and I covered it in peanut butter, put it in the Dutch oven and roasted it. And the peanut butter turned dark brown and crusted over, kind of like a salt crust grill kind of thing. And boy, was it good. So chicken and peanut butter do go well together. Of course, there's a famous dish which I believe is from Mexico, chicken mole. Is it called the chocolate chicken? I've had that. And also chicken with hot pepper. And that is off the charts. So we better do this and refocus. That's off the charts. So I'm wondering how peanut butter and chicken Cuban sandwich is going to taste. Tastes like as a potato chip. Now, as far as the chocolate, eating this stuff right here. Lindt. 90% dark supreme, they call it. Now, the interesting thing is, you may or may not know, but chocolate is a heart food, and if you want to improve your cardiac health, you should eat high cacao concentrates. I have some 100% like Baker's chocolate, which is funny, because as a side note, Baker is the person's name who started the company. It doesn't mean it's for bakers, for baking. It's like Smith's chocolate, but they call it Baker's chocolate. Kind of funny. You know, with no sugar. But the funny thing is, this Lindt stuff, I looked at the 99 and it was like 17% sugar, if memory serves. It was surprisingly high. And I looked at this, and Taiwan has, their nutritional labels are very, very easy to read. This has 7% sugar, which is still kind of weird, but so unless I read it completely wrong, the 90% is less sugar than the 9%. Anyway, I'm not using my gimbal. I'm not using my usual clamp. If I turn the camera around, it'll be pointed at my chest. Ha! I think I do want to show you. There's a dock right there. Some people fishing. This canal goes out to the ocean. Kaohsiung is a port city. This is be unstable with speed test. And I got a signal report for me. Man, this is well, it seems like our internet instability is straightened out. That was just ridiculous, man. I have over 100 Mbps download and almost 50 upload. So I'm in the middle of the outdoors. Oh well. Really? That sucks. Thank you. Slammin', thank you. I don't know why we would have lost the YouTube connection. This is bizarre. Some very strange things have been happening. And I don't know what it is. But I don't have my second device. Ah, okay. Oh, I see. He's Matthew. Okay. Wow. Well, I hope Jan comes on. That was ridiculous, man. The funny thing is, right? It didn't show me connected to YouTube at all. Prism's able to show, you know, through API how many people are connected on each platform. And it shows 0 on YouTube. It shows 4, actually 3 now. In Periscope, yeah, 3 and 4 is going in and out. Wow. Interesting. When you came in on YouTube, I had just started. See, if I scroll through the comments, right there, you're the first one. See? Then Jan came in right behind you. Oh well. Now you guys know how I like rum. Oh, it's back up. Okay. Is it the same broadcast or is it different? So I think what happened was, I think YouTube choked. And Prism could tell what's going on. And Prism gave me an internet instability warning. So, okay. But you know, it still doesn't show anything connected to YouTube. This is bizarre. I may have to disconnect and reconnect on YouTube later. I'll disconnect and reconnect the account later. No big deal. Okay. Well, that's good. Sorry about that, and apologize for the inconvenience. Hope Jan comes back. Now, you guys know how much I like rum. Interesting history of Caribbean rum. You know, all the big rum companies used to be in Cuba. Of course, that was in the, you know, in what's his name, Batista era. And when Castro came to power, most of them moved, like Bacardi and others. They're originally Cuban, and they went to like Puerto Rico. And most other rum companies went to Puerto Rico, and a couple of them went to other places. And you know, some rum companies and many of the other Caribbean islands, but in particular, 1 or 2 went to the Dominican Republic. And you know, just like everything else, because like I was in Florida in Ybor City, which is a place that's populated largely by Cuban Americans, And they have cigar factories there. And they're using tobacco that was grown in Florida with Cuban seed. And it's very similar to Cuban tobacco, but it's not quite the same. So it's the same with, sugar cane. It can even be the same species, but different island, different climate, different place. Not to mention the fact that, each company has its own way of doing the mash and the distillation and so forth. And so one of my favorite rums was Ron Bermudez, which I've never seen in Taiwan. And a funny story, back in the 80s, I was doing a merengue album, and these guys are a really great band, and did a whole album. I didn't do the mix. I did the tracking, and they sent the 24 track to John Fosty, who mixed it. I'm not sure if he mixed it in Puerto Rico, but I know that record sold 100,000 copies in Puerto Rico, which is pretty cool. But during the session, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, man. We're gonna work all day cutting a record. And the band, it was funny because after about 3 or 4 weeks of working with these guys, my Spanish started improving a lot, And they said, "Hey, engineer, we want to give you something." I was like, "Really? Well, that's nice. What do you got?" And they said, "We got Ron Bermudez," and they had a small bottle. It must have been hard to get because I've only seen it once or twice in the whole time I've lived in the United States. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing. Oh yeah, I want to try this." And they're all standing there looking at me, and they're going, "Well, what are you waiting for?" I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "We want you to try it now." I go, "You want me to try it? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to do a big session." I said, all right. I'll just take a capful," and I slowly unscrewed it and poured a capful, and it was like unbelievably just butter smooth with a little bit of that butterscotch flavor, that some of those rums have. I call those Manila rums because that's what they remind me. They remind me of Filipino rums. And I gotta tell you, it was fantastic. So you can imagine how pleased I was when I was in Carrefour over here in Kaohsiung, and I saw another Dominican Republic rum, and it was I forget the name of it. I haven't seen it before. Dominican Republic rum is very similar to Ron Bermudez, 40% alcohol APV, and it came in a really nice premium bottle. It was 604 NTs, roughly $20 for 1 liter, a liter of it. And so I've been enjoying that every night since I've been here. It's smooth enough to drink straight, but if you add a little soda water to it or something else, it just so I wish I could get that back in Huco where I live. But they do have El Capitan, which is a Filipino rum, but I don't really like it as much. The Filipino rum that I like the best is T5, which is a light. It's 30% alcohol, but it tastes like liquid butterscotch. It is just, Now, so I had a sip of my rum. I ate the rest of the cardiac-friendly chocolate strictly for, medicinal purposes. And now I'm going to try the Cuban sandwich, peanut butter and chicken potato chips. And I'm going to do this off camera because I think the scenery looks better than me. So let's just pop this thing open, see if we can get it open. Oh yeah. Okay. Now, first of all, let's examine the bouquet here. So can't see, but I'm sticking my face in the bag. You know what? I don't smell MSG. No black pepper. No heavy salt, but it definitely smells like some kind of sandwich. I can smell mayonnaise. I know, it really, really is. I can smell mayonnaise. Oh my goodness, and I swear, this is, wow. Let me see what I can do, hold on. I drop this down, the angle will get more like this, and then, can I? No, I don't think so. No matter what I do, see, I don't think I'm going to be able to get, the camera on me. Yeah, see, he's too far down. Yeah. See, the stick won't, hi there. Yeah, it won't bend. Okay, we'll just go on the rear camera. But, I smell like I definitely smell mayonnaise. And now, not really chicken, but it does smell like chicken salad. You know how when you mix like leftover chicken with mayonnaise? I swear I smell that peanut butter. Okay, so let's take a look at what these things look like. All right, they don't look any special. They're just, you know, kind of orangey, right? Which you might expect them to be a barbecued kind of potato chip, but they're not. All right, here's the first one. Very light. Now I can taste the potato. No salt, no pepper. Wow, no chemicals, no MSG. Potatoes. Mayonnaise, I can taste bread. Yeah, there's a chicken. Wow. These things are really good. Where are they made? Product of Taiwan. These things are made in Taiwan. Who would have guessed it? And it has the wow, it has the ingredients in English and Chinese. Wow. Compound seasoning with barbecue flavor and stuff. I don't read all this, but this product contains peanut, milk, and soybean products. So there you go. Weird flavor combination, but let me tell you, it works because it doesn't have that heavy salt. You know how like many of these potato chips, you know, you have a handful of them, you got to run for a glass of water because they just dry you out. This is one of the more interesting and authentic potato chip flavors I've reviewed on my channel so far, and I've done dozens of them. Yeah, this is wow. They look ordinary. They look kind of orange, and usually when they're really orange, they're chemically, you know, or they're really super spicy. There's a lot of chemical flavor, and usually I don't have a lot of hope for potato chips that look like this, you know, this dark color, this barbecue red color. They're usually over-spiced to try to compensate for not having very well developed flavors, but this is just, I swear I can taste the mayonnaise in there, and the chicken is not very strong, but I do taste the peanut butter too. And speaking of Ybor City, Cuban Americans and stuff, you know, cigars from a minute ago. When I was in Ybor City with my brother, back in the first decade of the 21st century, when I was in Florida last, actually, I was in Florida last in 2018 for 4 days, but besides that, went to visit my brother, and he took us over to Ybor City, and we had some real Cuban sandwiches with a sandwich press, and I'm telling you, it's a place that I saw in northern Taiwan on the highway. Actually, we came off the highway, just riding through town, and I saw a place called Cuban Sandwiches, and I marked it real quick on the GPS. I never went back, but I got to find that. But the other day I saw for the first time, a place where you can buy an actual sandwich press. There's something about pressed sandwiches, man. You know, between those two hot plates, toasting them, squishing that thing down. There's something about it. And now 7-Eleven here has a special machine. It takes 4 minutes. You go to the food center and you pick out the sandwich that you want. They got a whole bunch of different kinds. Yeah, I know. And these really are crispy, but they're not ridged. So they're just the regular smooth kind of, you know, bumpy, but they're not ridged. But oh, you're talking about the Cuban sandwiches. Yes, absolutely. And so these sandwiches that they're doing now at 7-Eleven, they have one that's Thai, kapow. Now you guys heard me talk about kapow, right? Like the national dish of Thailand. They got a kapow sandwich, man, with basil and hot peppers and ground pork and onions and stuff, like in a sandwich. It's sealed around on all four sides. It's like a big bread ravioli, if you will. And you buy it and you give it to them, and they pop it in this machine. It takes 4 minutes, and it's a hot plate kind of press. And boy, oh boy. Problem is, it's so popular that if you go up to the counter with a couple sandwiches, right, that's 8 minutes right there, but everybody else is doing it too. So we've had to wait like almost 30 minutes just to get a pair of sandwiches. Kind of defeats the purpose of fast food. So what they need to have is an onboard incendiary device. It's just a drawstring that you pop in it. 2 chemical packets burst, come together, and I don't know, calcium chloride and water or something. I don't know. I'm very tempted though to get that sandwich press. But I don't know if I'd put chicken and peanut butter in it. It's funny because there's a picture of Cuba, see? Right there. Isn't that funny? And this is Guba, which how they say Cuba in Chinese. Guba, Huasen, and what's that? Does it say? Oh, is that La Ji? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, spicy chicken. Oh, it does say. Gosh, it's hard to read. Okay, yeah, that says. I know. It says Guba Huasen La Ji. Okay, 三明治 Feng Wei, and then it says potato chips. Those last 3 words are potato chips. Okay, so that's what it says. So it does say spicy chicken, but it doesn't say spicy chicken in English. So you just got to read the Chinese. So basically, it's Cuban peanut butter spicy chicken sandwich, and Feng Wei. These 2 words, Feng Wei. This means like a distinctive flavor, and that's a qualifier in Chinese. Like, for example, if you were, because Wei is, it's actually 4-tone. Wei, like Wei Dao, it means flavor, or can be like a smell or an odor. And so, if you say Feng Wei, it means a specific flavor. So if you say like, if you want to say Italian flavor, you have to say like Italy Feng Wei, and then you know that it's specifically Italian. So that's what this is saying. It said that it's a specific Cuban spicy chicken. I'm glad I read that in Chinese. You know, I didn't read that before the broadcast, so maybe I should have. I was so just looking at that. I was like, wow, Cuban sandwich in English, and the peanut butter bowl and stuff, and the peanuts beside it, and the little villa and stuff. So that was pretty cool. Maybe I should have read it in Chinese before I got on the broadcast. I'll show this to my wife later. She'll be like, it's crazy. Sanmingsu means sandwich. That is a loan word, if you will. That's where they take Chinese words that have other meanings and try to make them sound like the English words. And so what happens, because Chinese is not a phonetic language, so you can't spell sounds. The only thing you can do is find a word that kind of sounds similar to it. But they generally don't really find things that sound that similar to it. It's just that there are, conventions that have developed over time, and some of the things do make sense because the words have meanings. So it's not like you just can't make something up. Like we've all seen the opposite. Like, for example, in Chinese, if you say niu rou mian, it means beef noodles, and it's actually a soup, but it's like a national dish in Taiwan. Okay, the beef noodles, right? And so I've seen a restaurant that instead of saying Taiwan-style beef noodles, they'll say N-E-W, new, then they'll say like lo, like L-O or L-O-W, and then they'll say men, like M-E-N. So I'm like, new low men. What is new low men? What does that mean? And finally I'm saying, oh, they're trying to say new rou mian. It's like, oh, why didn't they just say beef noodles? But now you can understand what I'm saying, because that would be like a loan word for English, to Chinese, where you used actual English words to try to make the sounds. And the problem is, it doesn't have any meaning. It's senseless. When you look at it, it doesn't mean anything. But in Chinese, it can mean things. Hey, Taiwan, how you doing, man? Yeah, how's things from the other side of the world? Glad to have you with us. I'm talking about Chinese again. Loan words and phonetics and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Anyway. Yeah, yeah, I guess so. Well, something weird happened today. Vietnam reported an imported case that came from Taiwan. It's not the first time that's happened. I can imagine it is. Yep. Without having the infrastructure there, like we do in Taiwan. I can imagine. It must be pretty tough on a day-to-day basis. You have enough masks, for you and your family? You doing okay with that? Wow. But the thing about the Vietnam case, right, is there isn't much information. Person, could have got it in the airport on the way there or something. All they know is they land and then they put them in quarantine and they test them. Okay, good. Good. I was going to say, man, if you don't have any masks, I'm going to send you some. You have to call it something, though, other than masks, so nobody wants it, yeah, that's good. That should hold you for a while, you know. You're frugal with them. Problem is, you've got a big family, then got to take care of them too. Back in the 2003 SARS epidemic, I was coming to Taiwan for business, you know, and I was working in a foundry. And I just told the boss, I said, "Listen, I'm going to take a box of these N95 masks with me." He goes, "Go ahead." And it was like, I think it was, I forget, 25 or 30, you know, a stack. You know, you've seen those long rectangular boxes. And somebody told me if I went down to the middle of Taiwan City by the train station, I could sell those things for 3,000 NT a piece, like $100 a piece. Had 30 of them. Nah. I just gave them away. Fortunately, though, because they ramped them up here, Taiwan's daily mask output is higher than our population. Taiwan now has capability to produce 30 million masks a day. That's pretty significant. So Taiwan could easily supply, you know, most countries with masks. And the other thing is, you guys may have remembered a while back I tweeted a couple of pictures and I talked about it on the live stream about how every other week we would go to the pharmacy and get our allotment of masks. And the other day my wife told me we don't need to do that anymore because we've got a couple hundred in stock. So yeah, there comes a point in time where you're just, you know, hoarding. I got to think about not taking what I need. It's like that's why I haven't taken any COVID-19 payments. I got enough backlog of COVID-19 payments. I could buy me a pretty darn nice guitar, you know, probably one of those $5,000 Flying V's or something, you know. Really? So, let me ask you a question. What do people do about it when that happens? I mean, so was it the citizens, you know, ganging up on the? I'd like to hear about this. Citizens ganging up on those people, or was it the store management ganging up on them? There's been some pretty weird stuff on YouTube, you know, about that, and I don't know. So I went to the Cowboy Bar tonight, you know, and they checked my temperature going in, and the outside now is a sign. The CDC made them put a sign out there, and they said they got a 75% capacity, right, or 75-person capacity. And every time somebody goes in, they press a button and it, you know, adds to the sign. So I was the number 22nd person in there. Oh boy. I read something today. You know, to me with YouTube, right? I don't care what video I'm watching, man. The first thing I do is go to the comments. The comments are the most entertaining part of any video. Because there's always some person makes an absolutely brilliant, hilarious comment that's got like 500 likes, you know. And there was something, I forget what it was. I actually forget what the video was. But there was a guy had to be a guy. He said, I'm 69 years old. I've never worn a mask. Now get this. And he said, I don't wash my hands when I eat something. Now listen to this. And what did he say? He was in the supermarket and he was eating like in a shopping cart. And he said when people told him about wearing a mask, he licked his fingers and, you know, like touched the handle of the cart. And he said, of course, it's the usual, you know, I've never had a cold and never had a flu and stuff. It's just flu. It won't kill you. I guess they must have, yeah. Wow. Well, that's how people communicate nowadays, you know. They can't, I mean, it's everywhere, so they can't even. That's been going on for a long time. I remember I saw a movie and I heard the F-bomb. It's like, was every other word. There's some kind of fight or something. I was like, man, I can't even watch this. I watched it with the sound off. But yeah. But can you imagine a 69-year-old guy, you know, licking his fingers and being like a total ass about this and bragging on it, you know, like it's like an accomplishment or something. And then you'll see like some of these live streams of COVID-19, you know, reports. There's always some guy that says, I'm not wearing a face diaper. And it's, you know, it's just really, really strange. Well, I don't think I think it's already been done, right? People have been shot over that, right? And I got to tell you, if you look at these movies like Contagion, I mean, it isn't quite like that, but in some of the movies, right, where people don't comply with the government mandate, they do shoot them because they can't afford to have, you know. Typhoid Mary. You guys ever read that story? It's on Wikipedia. It's amazing. Typhoid Mary had none, no symptoms. She was a super spreader. She was shedding virus like all the time. And Typhoid Mary, her profession was, she was a chef. And so they catch her every once in a while and tell her to stop cooking. She said, okay. And she stopped cooking for a month. She ran out of money. She started cooking again. She could go to some other place in the country and they track her down by all the, you know, the cases of typhoid suddenly exploding. And anyway, they finally had to lock her up. I mean, I get where she's coming from. She needed to work. But in that case, I think the government should have done something because she's been paying taxes. I mean, she's working, paying taxes. The government's supposed to give you something back. You know, you can't just tell somebody not to work. But, yeah, anyway, that's what it's all about is I think people aren't getting what they need. I'm going to go back here and check something. All right, Taiwan, look, man, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make you a moderator. How about that? So we just upgraded you. If you look, now you got the little, yeah. So you're authorized to moderate on my live streams now, and I appreciate it. But I got to be the biggest idiot for the life of me. I can't remember what your name is. What's going on? Why can't I remember your name? My memory's usually pretty good. But, you know, I was born in America. And I was a gun owner for a period of time, not, you know, my whole life. Jim, thanks, Jim. Okay, appreciate it. I'll try to remember that. And feel free to remind me. Next time you come on and you say, hi, MJ, it's Jim, remember? So I can go, oh, duh, thank you. And, you know, I believe in personal freedoms. And here in Taiwan, and Jim knows this, the personal freedoms are very strongly protected here. sometimes maybe someone might argue that personal freedoms might be protected to too high of a degree, because sometimes the police don't have jurisdiction over individuals when maybe they should. MJ, how you doing? Yeah, I know, you silly. Yeah, I know you, Mike. How's it going? Let me give you an example. And I'll come back to the topic, but my friend Andre and I were at Xiaohui's in my neighborhood. This is a place in my neighborhood, and we went over to the store to get a bottle of something for a mixer. And I noticed a woman sitting on the sidewalk, and she didn't have any pants on. And she was sitting, and it was cold. She was sitting, bare bottomed on the sidewalk. It's like a tile sidewalk, and it's like ice cold. And I mean, I just happened to notice, and I couldn't help but notice she didn't have any underwear on or anything, right? No bottoms at all, right? It was bad. And she's trying to pull her shirt down, to cover herself, and it was embarrassing. And all I could do basically was just not look at her, and try to give her a little dignity. And I went inside and I told Andre, he's like, "You're kidding me." I said, "No." I said, "What do you think we should do?" So, well, let me just give the cops a quick call. I said, "Okay." So the cops came down and they walked over to her, and we were right next door, so we were kind of like, listening and watching what's going on. And they're like, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm okay." So, well, why are you sitting here without any pants on? And she's like, "Well, it's none of your business." And they're like, "Okay, well, can we give you a ride somewhere?" "No." "Well, would you like us to get you, a cover or a blanket or something?" "No." "Well, what would you like for us to do?" "I'd like for you to go away and leave me alone." "Okay." And they went away and left her alone. And to this day, I have no idea how she got out of there. I mean, she would have to get up and walk, bare bottom somewhere, unless somebody came and got her something to wrap up, Yeah, that's true too. That is true too. And sometimes you'll see people doing things like littering. There's a guy in my neighborhood that cleaned up a parking lot and threw a whole mess of garbage, this stinky, maggoty stuff, behind my house. And my wife went out and yelled at him. And so he said, "Okay, if you don't want me to throw it here." And he just picked it up and he threw it in the middle of the road. Spread it all the road. I said, "What'd you do?" I said, "Call the cops." So she called the environmental cops. And the environmental cops said, "Do you have a video of him doing it?" We said, "No, but we have 2 eyewitnesses that saw him do it." "Oh, that's no good. You got to have a video of him doing it." So, but now I got a video camera in my carport that would catch that kind of stuff. But, in America, it's like, it's the other way around. You have to prove you're innocent pretty much. But now getting back to this whole thing, even though personal rights are really highly protected here in Taiwan, nobody has the attitude, or let me just say, very, very few people have the, "I'm not going to wear a mask because you can't force me to" kind of attitude. They understand because we've been through this and we've seen what happened. In 2003, man, it was scary. That was the first pandemic I've ever been in, the SARS epidemic. And my family told me that you put a mask on in the airport, you put a mask on the plane before you land in Japan. They told me it's okay to get on the airplane in America and fly to Japan, we're going to make a stop in Japan and change planes. But before you get to Kansai Airport in Osaka, speaking of which, Dave, we miss you, put a mask on. Land in Osaka with a mask, wear it all the way to the door, or we're not going to let you in. I said, okay. And that's what I did. And everywhere I went, wore a mask. Trains, buses, cars, everywhere. And so, but I saw people doing things like pulling down a mask and taking a drag of a cigarette. And I asked one guy, he wasn't wearing a mask. I said, how come you're not wearing a mask? He says, "Well, the wind's blowing." I asked somebody else, "How come you're not wearing a mask?" And they said, "Well, that's only a problem in Taipei. This is southern Taiwan." So they didn't really get it. And a lot of people got sick and more people died. Now, so far, we've only had 9 deaths. In the last 2 deaths have been within the last 6 or 8 weeks, and they're part of this hospital cluster that happened recently. There's a total of, I'm going to say 22, if I'm not mistaken, 21 or 22, and one of them was an elderly lady in her 80s, and she had a lot of comorbidities. And so environmental police is a good idea, but again, you know, you really have to video stuff, you know, that's going on. But you know, I mean, I go to the mall, right? And there's 2 security guards, one on either side of the lane going, you know, it's an underground parking garage. So I go down and I go up to the gate. And there's a security guard on both sides of the car. I roll down the window and he doesn't say anything. I said, well, he says hello, but he doesn't ask permission. He says, you know, hello. And he sticks his hand in the window with a thermal scanner aimed at my forehead. And then sometimes if they don't understand, I'll tell them, you know, my wife's in the back, and then the guy on the other side will open the door and then measure her. Or Phoenix, my wife I have a van with 3 rows, and my wife and Phoenix, my daughter, sit in the 2nd row behind me. And so, yeah, I know. And then you look at, that's funny because that reminds me of Jeff Goldblum in the original Independence Day movie. When he sees that, you know, he goes over to the recycling and he goes, my God in heaven. And because somebody threw, you know, aluminum cans out. It's not quite that bad, but yeah, I agree. And nobody says anything. Nobody's like, oh, you can't take my temperature. And the thing is, right, the signs say if you have a 37.5 degrees C fever, they won't let you in. And I've never so far had any experience or seen or even read in the news where somebody refused to leave if they had a fever. Because first of all, if you went to the store and you had a fever, it would mean probably you didn't know you had a fever, you know. So why would you go? And if you went and found out you had a fever, you might be scared and say, wow, what is this? Why do I have a fever? And then they would recommend that you go get tested. Nobody would call the cops or anything like that. But now when we went to the Mayday concert, right, I showed up at the Mayday concert. We had our concert tickets, and everywhere that they went, there were all these like attendants everywhere. There must have, for every line there were 2 or 3 attendants. There's many lines to get into the place. Many of the stations. All these attendants had a lanyard, and around the lanyard was around their neck, and attached to it was a laminated QR code, and they asked you to scan it with your mobile phone. So we did. I had to show them my Taiwan ID, and when I scanned the QR code, it opened a Google Doc. I had to fill out my name in Chinese, I had to fill out my phone number, my address in Chinese, and my ID number, and I forget what else. Oh yeah, I had to give them the seat number, the seat number where I was sitting, and everything. So, for contact tracing, because we went to this Mayday concert and there were about 30,000 people there, and that's what we did. And it took about maybe 15 minutes, and we were a few minutes late, but we went into the concert and every single person that I saw was wearing a mask. Everybody. There was nobody that I saw in an entire stadium, a ballpark full of people that didn't have a mask on. They all had their light sticks, and the light sticks were synchronized to the light show, which is really cool. They were doing that in Korea. That's where that came from. But I got to tell you, it was, pretty, I felt pretty secure, that they had really tightened that down. And I kept thinking, I told my wife, I said, this would never happen in the States. You couldn't get people to do that. Scan this QR code. No. And the other thing they gave us was, they gave us a little packet that had a kind of a Mayday thing. And they had a, I'm outdoors. It's about, it's dropped down. It's about 22. So, 22 C. -9. Holy cow. Yeah, well, if it was that cold, you'd be seeing my breath wafting by here, you know, in fog, right, as I'm talking. But they gave us like some commemorative stuff. They gave us actual raincoats because it was supposed to be a little sprinkly. They gave us a raincoat. They gave us a May Day mask, which I actually showed on a live stream in my studio with a green screen, and it has some green on it, and it disappeared. You guys remember I was showing you that it disappeared. It's pretty funny. And something else they gave us, I forget. But they gave everybody a little pack, you know, including a mask if you didn't have one. So that's what needs to happen. But there's, again, you know, I am in favor of less government interference. I don't like the government telling people who can and cannot get married. I don't like the government telling people, you know, what they can do or what they can't do. But sometimes you need the government to tell you. But on the other hand, too, you need the government to support you. So it's one thing to tell, you know, 100 million people to stay home and not work, but then not support them. You know, this is Typhoid Mary, right? Typhoid Mary was a chef, and okay, you can't work as a chef anymore. She go, okay. And then a month later, she started working again, she doesn't have any more money. So, well, yeah, but they don't, yeah. It's a boy band, Taiwan band. New Kids on the Block was from Boston, and Maurice Starr was their producer. I never actually met Maurice. I've seen him a couple times, some places, because, you know, I was a producer in Boston too. Everybody knows everybody else, but New Kids on the Block, I think, were a little bit different. But Mayday does Mando Pop, and they play their own instruments, and they're kind of like a high school band that grew up together. That's a pretty interesting story, and I got to tell you, the more I hear about them, the more I admire them. I admire their humility, you know, because they say things like, we realize that we're not very, very good, you know, singers and excellent, you know, players, but and we're lucky, but, you know, but I like their songs, you know, I think they're good writers, and Phoenix loves them. But yeah, you know who Mayday is. Wu Rui Tian is their in Chinese. So May, you know, 5th month, and then the word for day, which is kind of funny because May Day in English actually has a specific meaning. It means the first day in the month of May. So it really would be Wu Ye Yi Hao. But anyway, so. Well, I'm not saying that new kids don't play their instruments. I'm just saying that I don't know much about them. I might be wrong, I thought the new kids were just singers. I thought that the new kids were like Tavares. I happen to know about Tavares because I know Butchie Tavares, and I knew their backup band too, really hot band. But Tavares didn't play anything. They're the brothers that went out and sang. That's what I thought New Kids were, but I might be wrong. I'm sorry. Who knows? But yeah, Mayday plays their own stuff, plays their own instruments. We saw them at the show, and they were playing. You know, I mean, they weren't dazzling instrumentalists. I would say that they were, you know, more than adequate though. But the funny thing is, there's no like. Yeah, I've been here a long time. I have yet to see, like on TV or here on the radio, any dazzling stuff, right? And so, okay. And then there's a guy who calls himself Michael Tone. He's a Taiwanese guy in Hsinchu. He picked up a guitar one day in front of me, and I just, you know, I pretended I didn't know how to play guitar. This guy was like nuts, man. It's like the Eddie Van Halen of Taiwan. You'll never hear from him. Nothing's ever going to happen. It's just how it is here. But The other thing, though, is I don't know what new kids are doing now, but Mayday has had a multi-year career, and they're just as popular now, if not more, than they were back then. And the other thing I like about Mayday is that they got a real big sense of humor. You know, I love that. They laugh at themselves about things. Like on the video wall, they had a skit that they did in the van, like on their way back from the gig, and they stopped at a night market and got like some fried chicken and stuff. It was really funny. Yeah, I used to play harmonica. Not real well, but yeah, I tried to find a blues harp. I didn't find a blues harp. I found another, it was made by Hofner, but not a blues harp. And it's really hard to bend the notes on this when the reeds are too stiff. But if you get one of those Hofner blues harps and you can bend those notes. And as a side note, Mike, when I was in junior high school, I knew a kid named Jimmy Pilasari. And I never heard anybody play harp like that guy. He could play Jumpin' Jack Flash on a harmonica and bend the notes. And like, I heard him playing like lead solos from rock songs and stuff. It's nuts. So you can do it, but I can't. Yeah, I could play like, if you're doing like an acoustic song or something, I could pick up a harmonica and play a solo. I would have to practice it, but you know, it's not my big instrument. But I will say one thing, Jim. Mayday's got some darn nice guitars, man. One of those guys has a red Les Paul that I would love to pick up and play, and they've got a double neck 12-string over 6-string Gibson SG like Jimmy Page had, you know, years ago when he did Stairway to Heaven Live. They got a white one. Yeah, I know, Jumpin' Jack Flash on harmonica, man. And it was like, wah, 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 wah. It's like, listen to this guy do this into those bends, you know, so it was nuts. It's like listening to a guitar. And so his brother, what was his brother's name? Gosh, I forget his brother's name, but his brother played guitar, and he had a Kalamazoo SG, which is made by Gibson. And those two guys would come over to my house, and we would jam and just let Jimmy, you know, solo on it. So, oh really? Okay. So are you near? Were you near the Paul family home? I mean, have you met Rusty? You know, that's his son. Yeah, you should pick it up, man. Matthew, you should go to the music store and look for one of those Hofner blues harps, and they got them in different keys. And so remember, the key that you're buying is, okay, you have when you exhale and you blow into the harmonica, that's the key that you get. But when you inhale and you draw air through the harmonica, that is that's a fifth away. So if you're doing blues, you're mostly drawing. You're not blowing into it. You're drawing from it. And so that's what you want to. That's mostly what you want to do for that key. So you have to check that out. So okay, that's cool, Mike. I think that's really cool. Yeah, Matthew, you got nothing to lose, man. And those blues harps are really cool, and they're not that difficult. And they used to come with a little book, you know, and the little book was cool, but it doesn't really teach you how to bend the notes. And the funny thing is, Jimmy was really good, you know, and he spent some time with me, which is nice because he didn't have to. But he tried. Like, I picked up the harp, and I'm like, yeah, sure would. I'm like, man, how do you bend these notes? And he says, well, I can't tell you. I don't know how to tell you. But what it is this is okay. This is really strange. First of all, you're drawing air in through to bend notes. Okay, you're drawing air in. You're not blowing air into the harmonica. Okay, you're drawing air from it to bend, and you have to like move your tongue to the bottom of your mouth, to change the geometry, or the embouchure is the way that you would say it for an instrument. Change the geometry of your mouth against the port on the harmonica. It's really strange. I can't tell you how to bend a note. What I can do sometimes on a live stream, I can show like a side shot, like my face and and my jaw and everything. I just put the harmonica up, to my mouth and draw on it and bend a couple notes, and maybe you can like kind of see what I'm doing. But that's one of those things. It's like, how do you explain that? I don't know. I was trying to teach my daughter how to whistle. It's another one. Then I tried to teach her how to blow bubbles with bubble gum. That was easier than doing the blues harp. But that guy Jimmy, he just very patiently just bent a bunch of notes and showed me and said, you gotta move your tongue and this and the other thing. And then I kind of did it a little bit, and he said, yeah, there you go. Whatever you did, just do that again. And then finally I kind of got it. So. Yeah, there you go. Isn't that fun, man? It's fun being a dad. And Matthew, I've heard you talk about your kids. I know you're a great dad. But yeah, those little things that just fascinate them. Like, my daughter is still young enough to be absolutely fascinated by pull my finger. I mean, she just can't believe how that works. And every time I do it, my wife chastises me, and I'm like, but honey, I'm her father. I mean, this is what fathers do. Pull my finger is a tradition. Phoenix is 8. She's 8 years old. She turned 8 in October. And my wife wears a size 28 shoe, and Phoenix wears a size 26. And she is developing rapidly, and because it's the Wagwa DNA, right? And so what happened was she was wearing these pants and they were too tight, so she had to go to the store and get adult pants. So what? Whoa! Got another one on the way, a boy, around May 20th. Whoa, congratulations, bro. My goodness. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, listen, man, you're going to have to like share us some pictures and stuff in the late night group online, okay? Now we got to have that. Yeah, whistling's a lot of fun if you can do it. I really can't do it. I used to have a space between my teeth, and then I got it fixed. Now I can't whistle anymore. So daughter's 15, but you know something, Jim? I'll bet the other day she was 8. Because I keep joking, my daughter will call me and I'm looking down. I'm looking at her knees. I look up. Oh, you're up there. It's like I'm not ready for this. I mean, she's 8 years old and I swear she's getting a chest already. I'm like, I told her mother. I said, "Is this happening?" She goes, "Yep." I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I'm gonna have boy problems, man. She's gonna be 10 years old. I'm gonna have boy problems. I'm in Taiwan. So because I'm in Taiwan, I can't do, the traditional way where the daughter introduces, her boyfriend, right? Oh boy. Oh, that's amazing. So I was explaining to my family that, there's a tradition in America that when the father meets the daughter's first boyfriend, he comes over and they have a seat and they have a talk while the father cleans his guns on the table, one at a time. And he has a talk with his boy, and they talk about, what are your, what's your intentions, what's your aspirations in life, and as he's looking through the barrel with the barrel brush, you know, and so there you go. Yep. For sure. But you know what you can do, Mike? Depending on your job, maybe you can walk around with a harmonica and play some, you know, play some blues. You know what we saw the other day when we were in Elon, we went to a store that had nothing but ocarinas. All different sizes. I mean, they had like tenor ocarinas. They had like piccolo ocarinas. It was amazing. And, you know, alto and baritone, and it's amazing. And some of them were just like 4 or 5 holes, you know, just not too many, just a couple notes. But they had others that had like maybe a couple of octaves. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. See, I told you. And you know, this is the traditional way, because I live in Taiwan. I can't, you know, I don't have any guns, but maybe I could get, like, you know, the Indonesian blow guns out, and who knows, maybe the poison darts or something, and, you know, prepare to go hunting. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way. Bring them in. Hi, this is my dad, and have a seat, son. Yeah. Here, hand me that oil over there, please. Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks. You know what the thing about the comments, right, is I'm not using the widget. I'm just using, you know, this is the standard comment burn. I'm not using the widget. Although the widget is really cool and it is very useful. I really like this, and you know, I'm keeping the background dark, and yeah, it's easy to see, and I can still scroll and stuff too. And so everybody, you know, all my followers, they get to be a moderator too. I usually don't have too many trolls. Lately, I've been getting more comment spam, you know, after the fact. But yeah, so my Taiwanese family is they think that's not real. They're like, nah, nobody does that. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. The gun cabinet, and the gun oil, and the, you know. Yeah, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Yeah, hope you can catch us next time too. I'll probably be on Thursday. I'll be back home. I got some studio work to do. Got to help somebody from the Tascam forums that's having a little bit of a problem with some of their mix downs, and they're having mastering problems. I'm gonna work on that. But anyway, I gotta hurry up and finish a song. I've been messing around. I got all these songs. I got about 7 songs that are grown up about 75 to 80%. I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna finish it. Getting ready to bust a move and finish it. Take care, man. Zaijian. Say hi to the family. But man, I can't imagine how difficult it must be in Ethiopia to try to keep away from the COVID-19 virus. Boy, man, oh man. See, we're so fortunate here in Taiwan, and we don't live in the fear right now, you know. And I know some places in the States, people are just gripped by fear. And the other thing too, you know, we're talking earlier with Matthew about, he said there were 2 people in the supermarket, you know, that were just not wearing masks. The other problem too is sometimes people get so overwhelmed that they just don't care. They disconnect. And they say, oh, what's the use? You know, we're going to die anyway. And they just give up. And the problem with that is, change your mind later. Getting too emotional about something and making a snap decision. I mean, people do this all the time. How many people have gone to commit suicide and did something irreversible and then realized they shouldn't have done that? There's a case here in Taiwan. A woman got in an argument with her husband. She got 2 kids. And it's one of those, okay, you don't love me kind of stuff, right? You are. I hope not. Not with your little boy coming in May. But anyway, so. Procrastination is good for creativity. I don't know about that. The thing is, you got to bust a move so you can see where you're at, you know. And sometimes you got to release something just to see how bad it is so you can fix it later. That happens. But this woman, you know, she got in a fight with her husband, and it's one of those, oh, you don't love me kind of stuff. And so she swallowed rat poison. Okay. And of course, a couple hours later, you know, she decided, yeah, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Well, no problem. We'll just go to the hospital and they'll fix me up. Now, I knew a nurse at the hospital, and she told me the story. And so the doctor said, well, okay, what did you do? And she said, well, I drank this. And she showed him the bottle. And he said, well, there's nothing we can do. She said, what do you mean? She said, you've taken a fatal dose. So you can't give me an antidote? Well, no, there is no antidote for this. What's going to happen? Well, it's going to take about 2.5 or 3 days. And you're going to die. And that's it. And that's what happened. So, because the end was going to be like really nasty, because like she's going to bleed to death, because basically rat poison is an anticoagulant. She laid in the hospital and croaked like a rat on the bed in front of her 2 kids and her husband because she got mad. And, you know, it works the other way, too. You don't have to be in despair. You can just be, like, in a party mood. Remember all those young people that are doing the COVID-19 parties? I don't hear too much about that anymore, do you? When's the last time you heard about a COVID party? People aren't laughing anymore because it's over 100 million. Back when it was like 5 million, 4 million. Oh, it'll never happen to me. Yeah, I'm invincible. I'm 20 years old. Nothing can happen to me. And so, you know, the thing is, people find out. I remember one of the social media influencers that was saying, oh, COVID's a joke. It's just a flu and all that stuff. He was 30 years old, and he got sick. And he said, I think I made a mistake. This is real. And that's the last thing he said. So, and I'm 65. I don't have, you know, those bad comorbidities, but I cannot change the fact that I'm 65. I cannot change the fact that I have insulin resistance, not to a great degree, but not like when I was 25 or 30. I don't have heart disease. I'm in actually pretty good shape, and I take, 28 supplements a day, and yeah, but still I'm an old guy. And if I got COVID-19, who knows? The last time I got the flu, it wasn't that bad. I took Tamiflu, and within 5 days I was fine, but the first 2 days I was miserable. I survived, 5 years of migraine headaches. I survived several years of physical problems, physical therapy with, a blown disc. If I'm sick in the hospital, for a couple weeks to a couple months, okay, I'm getting through it. I can survive that, but you just don't want to be dumb. Yes. Well, Matthew, a friend of mine that I had like back in the 80s, I haven't seen him for a long time. Lost contact with him. We used to work together in a company, but I just found out recently that his wife got COVID-19 and she died. She had lupus, and I think she had sickle cell. Anyway, some comorbidities, and yeah, she got COVID-19 and it killed her. I felt really bad about that. He himself is he's in a nursing home. He was always obese, and he's got some cardiac problems now. I just don't know how to contact him, but if he gets COVID-19, it'll probably Who knows? But yeah, it's nothing to play around. I still, like, I don't know why people take chances. Smoking. For a respiratory disease, in a place like Taiwan, so many people smoke, and it's they call it Wuhan pneumonia. It is a pneumonia, right? I mean, that's what it does to your lungs. And why would you smoke? And I mean, if a doctor told you had pneumonia or you were going to get pneumonia, you probably wouldn't smoke. But see people smoking and they chew binglong, which is betel nut, and betel nut increases your chance of oral cancer and other types of cancer by 40 times, not 40%, 40 times. If you smoke and you add betel nut to it, then your chances of contracting or developing cancer go up 40 times. Why would you do that? And people do it here all the time. It's amazing. I never took those chances, I never smoked pot, never took those drugs, did cocaine, none of that stuff. Seen people doing crystal meth and all that, It really is. And then vaping, and people think, oh yeah, vaping was cool because it was an alternative to smoking, but then you get popcorn lungs. Now, the evidence is out now. No, vaping isn't good. When I was young, right, it's really funny. It's kind of like, I'm trying to think of an example, but I'd go places and people would say about me, oh, he doesn't smoke, but he's cool. Talking about pot. I'd be like, yeah, thanks a lot. Oh, he doesn't smoke, but he's cool anyway. Like, only cool people smoke, right? And I used to get this all the time. I remember somebody, they like tried to force a joint in my mouth. I mean, try to stick it in my mouth to make me smoke. They were like convinced this was gonna like make me cool or something, And I was already an accomplished guitar player. I was already 10 times cooler than that guy anyway, right? But the thing is I used to hear all the time, oh, it's all natural. It doesn't hurt you. And I would counter that. I would say, how can you possibly say that it doesn't hurt you just because it's all natural? It's smoke. And you're inhaling it. Okay, so I'll start a fire. I'll use leaves and sticks and wood, and I'm just going to stick my face in that smoke and breathe it, right? Because it's all natural. It won't hurt me, right? I mean, so, but the evidence shows, right? Okay, well, the evidence is in now. Smoking marijuana shrinks your brain. And I gotta tell you, some of those guys that I knew back then, I swear their brain was shrunk, man, the way they acted. But a lot of those guys don't have a voice anymore. I still do. But it really is. And everybody smokes here. Yeah, thanks. Oh. Yeah, so CO2 is natural too, but I wouldn't go, put a mask on and breathe CO2. And the Filipino guys in my neighborhood, every single one of them smokes, and I'm always on their case. They don't like it, but I don't like the fact that they smoke, and they complain to me all the time, like, well, we get treated by slaves, we don't make enough money. I said, well, how'd you like a $100 a month raise? Yeah, can you get it for me? Sure, all I got to do is stop smoking. They spend $3 a day on cigarettes. Pack of cigarettes a day. So, that's crazy. And so I ask these guys, how come you smoke? And they'll talk to each other in Tagalog. They're asking each other, why do we smoke? And the answer's all the same, we don't know. So I know. Because your stupid peers do. Yeah. So I call it the great robber. Cigarettes. I said every time you buy a pack of cigarettes, you should put your hands in the air. And they go, why? I said, well, you're being robbed. What? I said, put your hands in the air, man, because you're being robbed. It's robbing your health. and it's robbing your wealth. And it's not just the short-term wealth, it's the money that you shell out now. At the end of it, I said, once you think about your last, it is. And these people, what they don't understand is they're corporate drug addicts. That's what they are. Cigarette smokers are corporate drug addicts. They're enslaved to some corporation that's laughing their head off, stealing their money. And it's not just the short term, the payout that they have to make, to buy the cigarettes. What happens when you lose your health? What happens when you got to spend like the last year or 2 years of your life, on oxygen? And the thing is, China is the worst. China has all these sanitariums that are full of nothing but old men laying in bed, slowly dying on oxygen because they smoked for 50 years. Seriously. So, anyway. Enough negative stuff. Yeah. Well, they should be, illegal. If cigarettes came out today, they wouldn't be allowed, they're grandfathered. And it's all about the lobby and so forth. Cigarette ads haven't been permitted on any media in the United States for over 30 years. And yet I went to Bali in 2017, and everywhere I went I saw cigarette ads. I was like, wow, I haven't seen those for a long time. I saw a billboard on the highway. It's like a video wall. The thing was like a football field big. Marlboro, I saw a thing on TV about how this company was so proud that they built a new factory in China. And they were talking about, they got a new market for their products and stuff. It was cigarettes. We employed 500 people and we can make, 1 million cigarettes a month, and we got all this market opinion. Why in the world would you do that? So, money. And no scruples. There's lots of ways to make money and maintain your integrity. The question is the integrity part as important as making the money part? And for a lot of people, the answer to that is no. A lot of people, they just want to make money and justify, everything else. So, really, was he a smoker? That's too bad. I mean, can you imagine though? I mean, all the things not being able to breathe. I mean, that's like, it's like drowning. So, yeah. Guy that I moved to Boston with and played in the band with, I met him when I was, I met him when I was 17. That's too bad, man. And, fish just jumped. And, he's 6 months younger than me. And when he was 17 years old, he was 3-pack a day, man, already. And from then until now, wow, fish really jumping. I wonder if there's a predator in there that's chasing him. And to this day, though, he's been a smoker. And, boy, I haven't seen this guy since, 2002. And the difference between he and I back then was quite dramatic, so I can't imagine what it is by now. Really. Yeah. I don't get it. There's no excuse for it, because when I was a kid, there was a big push for everybody to quit smoking, and then many places, well, back when I lived in the States, there's almost no place that you could smoke, It is gross. There's almost no place that you could smoke. And so I started traveling around the world, right? And, oh man, they're even the no filter Camels. Yeah. Might as well just stick your mouth on a tailpipe of a car. Oh man. I see, traveling throughout Asia, especially Europeans, so many young people smoking. I was like, what is going on? What are these people doing? Where are they getting this idea to smoke from? Because amongst my generation, a lot of people smoked when they were in high school because they thought it was cool, and then they went, through university and got a job, and then they would quit smoking because there's no smoking in the office, and it was frowned upon and looked down on, and people thought you were dumb if you smoked. And so for a long time, like in the 80s, everybody I knew, in the 80s, nobody smoked. Except this one guy, I told you about. So many people I would work with in the studio, Hey, QT. Yeah, maybe so. That's another thing, too. And so, yeah, like a lot of people in the studio that I knew that, the professional musicians, most of them didn't smoke. Every once in a while they might, but some of the Europeans, I got some Russian guys. I had a Russian recording artist come and visit, and he was a chain smoker. He was sitting at the piano, and he was singing in Russian, and he had a smoky voice, and it sounded cool, but I mean, I don't know what he's doing now. But most of the people that I work with didn't smoke. All the great singers that I knew didn't smoke. Eric Carmen smoked, though, which always surprised me. Some of them did. Yeah, it is sad. It is sad. But Ellis Hall, Bunny, all those guys, Butchie Tavares, Brad Delp, those guys didn't smoke. Anyway, 70s was different, but the 80s changed everything, I got a mosquito on my phone. Don't bite that. That's not going to do anything. 80s changed everything, which is good, and they quit, but I don't know what's going on now. Oh, yeah, well, I was at the Cowboy Bar tonight, and it is a cigar bar, and I don't smoke, and they got smoke eaters in the ceiling. They make a tremendous noise. There's like 70 dB background noise. But I'm like, right now, I'm sitting outside. I was there earlier tonight, and my shirt smells like cigarettes, my hair and everything. I got to go take a shower if I hit the rack. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm 65, man, and I still have like largely most of my singing range is because of that. No smoking, so. But I don't want to get too negative. We've been harping on the smoking thing for a while, and people know how I feel about it. But people do have the right to do what they want. But I just feel that, yeah, thanks. I just feel that, oh, that's good. That's great that the whole apartment, I wish they would do that in Taiwan. I just, sometimes people practice a dangerous lifestyle and then they expect the healthcare system to just fix it and to do super Herculean things to try to save their life because they were like a drug addict, all their life or something like that. And it's hard for me to agree with that. I kind of think that, if you don't take care of yourself, maybe you got it coming, but I don't know. All right, it is. Local time is 0 hours and 53, so it's 7 minutes before 1 a.m. here in Taiwan, and this is a beautiful night. It's gone down to about 22 degrees C, and there's no wind. You can see on the water, though, it's a little bit of a ripple, and there was some fish jumping earlier, so I think I'm going to call it a night. I want to say thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate the nice little conversation we had. It was interesting taste testing those chips. And I like doing a stream from this location a couple times a year. I'll be back in Hsinchu tomorrow. I'll be back in my studio. And you'll probably see me again on Thursday at some of the usual places. I'll be working on some more music. Yeah, go ahead. You got something else you want to... I'll go sledding riding, huh? Hey, T.Y., no, I've got a... thanks. I've got a recording studio in my home. I'm basically a retired record producer from Boston. I've done about 500 sessions in the old days, and so try to post some pics. Of what? What kind of pics you want me to post? Here, let me do this, okay? Because it's just so you know, I have. Let me do this. This is my. Okay, this is my Instagram for my studio. It's called Phoenix Media Forge, and there actually is a .com. There's a phoenixmediaforge.com, and you can read about my studio. It's a little bit different. I have a hybrid analog and digital workflow. I've got two mixing consoles. I've got a vintage analog console and a modern digital. And actually, no, I can't. It's a good question, Ty. I was. Okay, I guess I'm not going to go. Mike, I have a very definitive answer for that. I came to Taiwan 17 years ago, and I was, not as old as I am now. I'm 65 now, but my wife and I run a company. We do manufacturing, and I've always been in the music business, and I kind of laid low for a while. I played some shows in Taiwan. I played with actually a Thai band, not Taiwan, but like Thailand, Thai. I played some movie premieres, and we played some pretty big shows, like 10,000 people or so in like in Taoyuan Stadium in the north, and in Taipei, some smaller shows, like less than 5,000. And I did a little bit of recording with those guys, but they just never really did anything, and they went back to, sure, it's my pleasure, they went back to Thailand. My favorite Boston song is More Than a Feeling. And this reminds me, because there's something that I want to do. But you guys can contact me. If you go to phoenixmediaforge.com, you can contact me. I've got the website there, and the email is info@phoenixmediaforge.com. I have the multi-tracks, Mike, for More Than a Feeling. There are 21 amazing, glorious tracks of Boston. And I have them imported into my system, and I'm working on a new mix. It's going to be just for me because I can't release it. I don't own it, and I don't really want to license it to do that. But one of the things I'm going to do, I have to do it on HAPS. I can't do it on YouTube. I can't do it anywhere else because of all this, business with copyright strikes and everything else. But very soon, because I have a Phoenix Media Forge, I have a Phoenix Media Forge HAPS channel, and I'm going to be going through More Than a Feeling track by track and analyzing it. We're going to listen to how that song was recorded and put together. Well, yeah, we all deal with patents. Yeah. Always, sure. And so that's what we're going to do. And I'll let you know when that happens. But it won't be on YouTube, it won't be on Periscope. I'm going to do it on HAPS because I think it's the only place I can do it and not get hassled. That's going to be fun. But I'll tell you, there's a couple of secrets in that song. Everybody knows that song, More Than a Feeling, right, by Boston. Are a couple of secrets in there that song doesn't give up until you solo the tracks. And there's one really amazing thing that I want to tell you about that song. Because after this broadcast, if you go listen to More Than a Feeling, you will hear what I'm going to tell you. Me too. Okay, so where, okay, so it's in D. Dun, 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 you know, I closed my eyes and I slipped away, right? Okay. Then the guitar goes da 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 da. So you guys are with me, right? You can hear that in your head, right? What a lot of people don't know is Brad Delp, when he's singing, you can close my eyes, slipped away. He sings that. He sings it in the upper register though. He sings that guitar part. He just goes Then the guitar finishes da 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 da. If you listen to that, that's why that sounds so incredibly haunting. There's one other, yeah, I know. There's one other thing that happens on the guitar tracks where they do. There's 2 sets of background guitar tracks. Well, yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I've been drinking and in a smoky bar, but yeah, I can sing that stuff. Just not right now, but thank you. There's 2 sets of guitar tracks, and one of them does the pick shots where it goes down to da da, right? One of them has a very interesting sound that Tom Schultz recorded and basically punched in the tracks before they come into those chords where it goes da 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 ba 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 ba, right? It is a little piece of feedback. So it goes slips away, and then you hear it go. Then you'll hear in the background all of it. It's hard to describe because I'm using my voice to like give you a description of what happens with the guitar. But all of a sudden you'll hear the guitar just go like almost backwards coming into it. There's a buildup there. And so what I want to do on the Haps broadcast is I want to solo those tracks and let you hear how that comes in. But I'm doing my own mix because we have a lot better technology today, and I have my digital console has much more ability than the original analog console that they mixed it on. They probably did it, well, I know they did in LA, but they probably did it without automation, but I might be wrong. But the automation would have been very limited. Like the snare track and the side stick are on the same track. So the side stick is a lot louder than the snare. But I can use sidechain compression and zoom in. It's probably about 1.2, 1.5K on the side stick, so I can compress just the side stick and not the main part of the snare, so I can balance, because the side stick is like really loud. If you guys go after this broadcast and you go listen to More Than a Feeling, I want you to listen to how loud that side stick is. You know, I looked up this morning, it's like, and the sun was gone. It's like, it's way up there, okay? And then you'll hear Brad Delp going, you know, and then, so, yeah, it's tough to listen to. And it's just, it's things that you hear by having a lot of experience, but also in this particular case, I have access to the tracks. I also have about 15 Queen songs. So the song I'm going to do after that is Bohemian Rhapsody. We're going to go through that track by track, and that song has a lot of secrets to give up, including the fact that Freddie Mercury sang at least 4 different lead vocal tracks. They all have slight differences. The timing is different. Some of the pitches are different. And it changes the flavor of the song. And what they did was they went through line by line and chose the sections that they wanted and built, I guess they call it comping nowadays. We used to just call it submixing, where we would build a track assembly out of all these different things. But the original storage tracks are still there. And there's some interesting things going on with the guitar track too. And I will tell you one thing. I've done over 500 sessions in Boston and New York and DC, and Queen's raw tracks, I know, are the most incredible raw tracks that I've ever heard in my life. In other words, they're so, just the raw talent and ability, you don't have to do anything to it. You just bring it up in the mix. You don't have to mess with it. You know, it's because they just, it's virtually perfect. You don't need to tune anything, you know. And so that's just how those old stars were. I don't know what the new guys are doing. They're all doing auto-tune and cut and paste and stuff. But, you know, you listen to Boston, and Brad Delp sang every note. All the background vocals, he sang them all. And there was no cut and paste. You know, the second verse sounds different than the first verse because he sang it. It's a different, you know, it's a different set of tracks. And I like that. That's how I always did my stuff. I triple tracked my background vocals. If you go to PhoenixMediaForge.com, you can find, you know, my stuff on SoundCloud. And that's how we did it back then. You know, we didn't cut and paste because we're working on 2-inch tape. Anyway, so there's a lot of these cool secrets that we're going to give up, and I just got to make sure I don't get sued, but I don't think so. This is all covered under fair use. We're going to talk about what makes these songs so incredible, and the incredible talent behind them. So the first one I want to do is More Than a Feeling, and I have a mix about halfway through of that song. And it just in my monitors in my studio on the digital console, it sounds unreal. That it's the cleanliness of it's just the clarity. It's just it's unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to bringing that to you guys. But I really got to go, man. I've been on the air for 1 hour and 53 minutes. Holy cow! So the local time here is 1:06. So there you go. Queen versus Boston. I know. It would have been great to have those guys on the same show, wouldn't it? Can you imagine Freddie Mercury and Brad Delp together? Wow. Yeah. Thank you. You take care, too. Thank you, QT lady. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining on Periscope. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And Phoenix, my 8-year-old, she loves all this stuff. She loves Boston. Her favorite rock band is Def Leppard, you know. And so, yeah. Take care, Matthew. Thanks so much. And Jan, I know you're not with us, but appreciate you joining earlier on. David Osaka, we missed you, man. We'll see you next time. Thanks, you guys, and have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Want to say Zaijian, Wan An. Yeah, the drummer with an arm. Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Well, that's dedication. It's highly, highly motivated, you know, and it just goes to show you what you can accomplish, right? Guys, take care. We'll see you next time. Zaijian, Wan An from Taiwan. Thank you. They do. Bye-bye now. Thanks so much for joining. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.